The possibility of a breakdown in relations between Saudi Arabia and Russia, the US dollar and petrol, and how important to make the most of bad situation. These are the things that will be front and center in today's video. So, keep watching. Then you can leave a like and subscribe. Moving on. Russia's renewed focus on energy markets and international politics has been making much news. The murder of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi in Istanbul in October 2018 profoundly tainted the royal family, but the war in Yemen, where Riyadh is fighting Iranian-backed Houthi rebels, has been ongoing for years. In 2020, Houthi rebels' protracted delay damaged their image as a regional powerhouse. Aside from that, since the pandemic caused oil prices to plummet, destroying the Saudi economy, early in his presidency, Joe Biden promised to turn the Saudi Arabian kingdom into a pariah. However, less than 2 years after Biden replaced their longtime ally, Barack Obama, the Saudis are again doing business with the United States, this time with President Donald Trump. According to the International Energy Agency, Riyadh controls 55% of the world's crude oil production capacity, which can be accessed in short order to cushion any halt. This is a potent tool in a world worried about the conflict in Ukraine and the potential disruption of Russian energy flows. With Brent crude nearing $100 per barrel and Saudi production on its way to a record yearly average, oil prices and inflation are on the rise. From the looks of things, Riyadh is doing better financially than it has at any point since King Salman arrived on the throne in January 2015. The kingdom is projected to make $375 billion from producing oil this year, the second biggest sum ever and more than twice as much as it did in 2020. In 2020, rising output and pricing should bring Saudi Arabia's oil revenues to roughly $375 billion. During the time that oil prices were very high, Vice President Biden avoided meeting with the Saudis, in particular Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who is in charge of day-to-day operations in the kingdom. When oil prices in October and November skyrocketed, the White House opted not to release funds from the United States Strategic Petroleum Reserve. In February of 2021, Vice President Biden spoke with Saudi King Salman on the phone to discuss recalibrating the United States' security relationship with Riyadh, which included reversing Trump's decision to list the Houthis as a terrorist organization last week. If Biden brought up human rights, the White House didn't mention it in its readout. The momentary pillar of disgrace collapsed. Oil prices soared toward $100 per barrel in the United States, and retail gasoline is currently at an 8-year high of nearly $3.50 per gallon. The White House speaks in the span of a year. Riyadh has gone from being an outcast to a collaborator in controlling the oil market. Biden backed off his criticism in February 2021 after a report said the Crown Prince, often known as MBS, had approved the operation to capture or kill Khashoggi. U.S. diplomats have underlined how Riyadh has supported United Nations efforts to end the war while blaming the Houthis for launching new offensives. It takes two to get a ceasefire and end the war, and right now, the onus is on the Houthis. Stone's shift in focus to Yemen is just one example. According to remarks made by Brett McGurk, the National Security Council's coordinator for the Middle East and North Africa during a virtual conference hosted by the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, Vice President Biden has hinted that he may rescind his decision from a year ago not to designate the Houthis as a terrorist organization. Despite this, Biden has refused to send a signal to Saudi Arabia to speak with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Washington needs to accept the facts, but that will happen in time. At age 36, MBS has no plans to leave his position. The Saudi royal also said that his dad is 86 years old. Moreover, oil demand isn't dropping despite the worldwide effort to combat climate change. Leaders in Saudi Arabia, despite their diminished influence, London's dynasties will continue to shape the city's politics and economy for years to come. The rise of the petrodollar may not be such a bad thing, especially if it challenges the dollar's position as the world's primary currency for trading stocks. The BRICS Stocks Exchanges Alliance is a fascinating example of a market-initiated and market-mobilized BRICS alliance operating within the context of the current global financial system. Stock exchanges in BRICS countries announced an endeavor to cross-list benchmark equity index derivatives in October 2011, after South Africa joined the BRIC group in October 2011. This alliance notion was first offered by the Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing Limited HKX in June 2010. Brazil's Bovespa came together for this endeavor. China's first representation in Russia, the Russia HKX, the Moscow Interbank Currency Exchange in Russia, and South Africa's Johannesburg Stock Exchange in Johannesburg. The National Stock Exchange of India, NSE, and the BSE Limited, formerly known as the Bombay Stock Exchange, have signed letters of support and will join the alliance once all outstanding requirements are met. The BRICS leaders endorsed the formation of this equity market alliance at the 2012 BRICS Summit. The BRICS Stock Exchanges Alliance has begun cross-listing equity benchmark index derivatives that can be purchased in local currencies. Members of the BRICS Stock Exchanges Alliance have planned the initiative's first 3 phases during this summit. In the first phase, benchmark equity index futures will be cross-listed to boost liquidity in BRICS markets and solidify the alliance's standing in the world arena. Second stage members of the alliance seek to develop new products for cross-listing on their exchanges, and participating exchanges offer benchmark index derivatives denominated in local currency. The third phase will involve expanded collaboration on creating complementary goods and new service offerings. Although the BRICS Stock Exchanges Alliance did not set out to de-dollarize the global equities market, the result is a positive step in that direction. The 7 member exchanges have combined listed market capitalization of $9.2 trillion, trade $422 billion worth of equity each month, and are home to 948 publicly traded companies. They can diversify their holdings and increase their exposure to the BRICS equity markets thanks to the alliance provision of access to derivatives based on the major equity indices of those markets. In addition to boosting the visibility of the exchanges, increasing the use of BRICS currencies in global equity markets, and shifting capital flow away from dollar-denominated financial asset, broader domestic and international participation in the cross-listed financial products will have a positive effect on investors with exposure to BRICS economies. Hedging and risk management are vital for building a stable financial ecosystem in BRIC countries and will be made possible in the future. Please like and subscribe if you liked today's video and want to keep learning about business, investment, and financial education. We at Stockology will very much appreciate your likes and subscriptions. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next video.